everybody, this is Don Parrish from IPKC into Paranormal KC. As always, glad you are joining us on our YouTube channel for this video. As always, we're at www.intoparanormalkc.com. Love it when you guys check out our page and our investigations and everything. With us tonight, we have a special guest. We have Luke Millet. He is the creator and producer of the Ghost Tapes series that is on YouTube.
It's starting already. It just was like a jolt of electricity. I still feel it. It's weird. You've not felt this before, have you? No. Neither have I.
Maybe it's Eddie, not Eleanor.
Hey, Eddie? I think it just... Is there a little girl that would like to come and speak to me? Or maybe you could tell us what year you died.
Or what your name is.
Okay, something just shot into your head. Am I sitting right in front of this big hole? Yeah, Alright, okay.
We're going. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sorry to have bothered you.
But he has put them on YouTube. He also has a series under the same name. But just want everybody to welcome him and say hi, and we appreciate you being on the show tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
No problem at all. So we had some questions for you. Wanting to know how you became interested in the paranormal, or how did you get your start in this field?
Well, I've always been interested in the paranormal and ghosts. Growing up, Ghostbusters was my favorite film, and it still is today. And so that kind of inspired me. But then when I started seeing that these kind of shows were appearing on television, it really blew my mind, because it meant that we could actually go out and do this kind of thing. And I never knew that you could do that before. And I've always kind of had the idea of a documentary about it long before, like, Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures. And
right.
But then when the Ghost Adventures documentary came out, that really, like, kind of kick-started me to get going with it. And I guess the rest you could say is history.
Gotcha. And something I've seen you talk about on other radio shows and stuff is, and something that I do like about your Ghost Tape series, is that you approach it by kind of just jumping into the investigation. You give a little bit, kind of a teaser and a little bit of history, which is great, and then you just jump right in, and I love that. Because if you go through Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures, they always take half the show and give you the whole history and very dramatic, you know, pictures and video, and it kind of takes away from the splendor and magic of actually doing the investigation.
I know, it boggles my mind. I mean, I understand that they're trying to fill a time slot, but if it was up to me, I would rather just have a show half length that's just the investigation portion.
Yeah, definitely. And
I know I'm a viewer, and I just think, like, what do other viewers want to see? Exactly.
And I love that you bring in skeptics, people that don't believe, because that's really not something you see a lot on the big TV shows. So
I never see that.
No.
I've never seen it.
No. You see it every now and then, and they don't really like to say, hey, this is a skeptic, you know. But I love how you do that. You actually interviewed one on your first documentary, and I loved that part, because it's nice to see both sides of the thing. And me myself, You know, I'm a paranormal investigator, and I still don't know exactly what I believe, because I'm not going to tell you, hey, I definitely believe in ghosts, because I haven't seen one yet. I've seen things I can't explain. I've heard things I can't explain, but you know, I can't definitely say one way or the other. So.
Yeah, exactly. Because the problem is, no matter how good of an investigator you are, you still need to know things about, like, electricity. You need to be, you know, an electrician. You need to be a carpenter to know how do houses react to things like temperature and air pressure. And
right. Or
there's just no one person knows all of these things, which makes it tough.
Right. Right. Even plumbers are good to have on your team.
Yeah, even plumbers.
Yes, because they know what sounds the plumbing makes in a house.
Exactly.
Yep. And it's good to have those people on an investigation team, especially if you have a large group of more than 4 people. It's nice to have that too. Different people having different jobs and different expertise on the team really adds to your credibility, I think. So.
I agree.
What has been the most compelling evidence for you personally throughout all your endeavors?
Oh, probably it's something that we caught on film in Ghost Tapes 2, the second documentary. We were in the rock tunnels underneath the Stanley Hotel, and Jim, my co-investigator, caught this really wild, swirling-looking light with his camera. I don't want to call it an orb because it's not an orb-shaped, but it darts across the screen a little bit, and then it kind of disappears into me, which is kind of shocking to see. But of all the years of us doing this and filming, I've never seen anything like that before.
I think I remember that. I actually got to watch Ghost Tapes 2 a little bit today, but I only got to watch like the first 35, 40 minutes, something like that. I don't remember seeing that part. I have seen Ghost Tapes 2. Yeah, I have seen I've seen all your work, but I don't remember that part. But I will have to definitely go back and check that out. But I just wondered, because I'm sure you've done a lot of investigations and had a lot of experience with this stuff. So I just was wondering, you know, what that moment was, because everybody has their moment, you know, at least up to a certain point in their career. Sometimes that gets bigger and better, but
yeah, the sad thing is I couldn't enjoy it at the moment because Jim caught it. He saw it, and he said, "Oh, Luke, I just saw an orb," and I'm thinking like, okay, that could be anything. But then I went back and I saw it finally, and I was like, wow, that is crazy.
And what is your friend's name that tags along with you? He lives in Colorado?
Jim Chester.
Jim Chester.
Very good friend of mine.
Gotcha. He seems like a really nice guy. Gotcha. And you had a psychic too on Ghost Tapes 2. What is your feeling towards psychics and mediums? Do you think a team benefits from them, or do you think it's best to keep them out and just use the science? Because a lot of paranormal groups believe one way or the other. So
yeah, I think that's really silly. I think you need a balance.
Right.
I think you want to use your tools, you want to use your body, but then it might, it couldn't hurt to bring in a skeptic and see what they have to say.
Absolutely.
So I think you should kind of cycle through everything a little bit. I don't think it should just be one way or that way.
Right. I think they can lend their insight, and sometimes you can go from their insight, you can go and do SB7 or do Spirit Box or do an EVP session based on what they're coming up with. You can also validate what they're feeling and what they're saying through experience and things of that nature to validate what they're feeling. But
I just had a great idea, actually.
What's that?
What it seems like groups do is they have a psychic come in and, read the place, and then they do an investigation, and based on what the psychic says, it might, influence what they think they're catching.
Right.
I think they should do the investigation first, and then bring in the psychic and see what the psychic says.
Like as a separate thing? Completely separate?
Yeah, as like a totally separate thing. And then maybe you could see if they line up at all.
Right.
And if they find something that correlates with what you already captured, that gives both of you more credibility.
Yeah, it actually does. And that's a very good idea. What's it like? Because I've actually never done a psychic in our group. I'm not opposed to it, but we just don't know of any. But what was it like to have a psychic sitting in front of you and have a spirit talking through their body? I mean, what is that like? Is there like an eerie feeling in the air? Did you feel anything emotional, or did you feel like it was completely 100% legit? Just you personally?
I found it pretty disturbing, honestly.
Okay.
Just sitting in a pitch black room and having this psychic start talking as someone else. Whether it's legitimate or not, I can't speak for that, but I can say that it changed the tone of the investigation, definitely.
Did you guys stop from that point?
Yeah, we stopped pretty much right at that point.
Okay. Because he was saying that he was seeing her in pain, and he didn't like that, so he decided to stop the investigation. So I thought that was interesting.
He doesn't like it when Nancy's in any sort of pain, and he didn't want the spirit to feel like a circus sideshow or anything.
Gotcha. She seemed like a really...
Which I commend him for that, because other investigators would have just, gone all night, probably.
Exactly. I don't know, that would just be, for me, just experiencing that, I think would be, I don't know, very, very intriguing, and it could potentially be scary. I mean, because you don't know what's going on for sure. So...
Oh, yeah, it was scary. It was for sure.
But I definitely think psychics and mediums have their place in an investigative team. And then if an investigative team doesn't want them on their team, then that's perfectly fine. But I don't think that they hurt anything.